that you could do, like waving goodbye to the crowd, especially if you're blowing them out. This is fun to do. But certain teams have signature turnover celebrations like the throne for Colorado, or some teams hold up championship belts. And there's tons of other team-specific unique celebrations that will trigger that you'll see when you play the game. As you can see here on the list, there's a handful of first down and interception celebrations you can do, so you want to get familiar with them so that when you're in the game, you know what to do. But one of the more popular things to do after getting an interception is letting your opponent know that you strapped them. And you can do this by holding down the right stick after you get an interception, and a lot of people are going to want to use this one. Now let's talk about the mascots. Now they're all unique in their own way, but some are more unique than others. So let's look at Western Kentucky's mascot. He's in the top left of the screen by the end zone, and you'll notice that during plays, he'll be doing some of his weird dances and things like that. So he's not just kind of standing around just being something that's fixed on the sideline. He actually moves, he actually acts like himself, and all of the mascots do this in their own way. And another unique mascot is going to be Minnesota's mascot, who maybe has the coolest thing in the whole game. So after you score a touchdown, he'll actually spin his head around like he does in real life, which is pretty cool. And if you want to talk about the details, they even went as far as to put the Texas mascot in his pin during the game that you can see in the replay menu, which is pretty cool. Really quickly, before we continue with this video, I do want to mention that we are still sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. If you like sports and you like winning money, then you've got to be on Underdog Fantasy playing their pick'em game. Basically, all you have to do is pick higher or lower on a wide variety of player stats, and if they hit, you can win some big money. And the best part about Underdog Fantasy is they give you a free play at sign up and free money to play with. So for example, if you sign up during any given night right now during the WNBA season, they'll give you a player like Caitlin Clark to get a single point. All she has to do is get 1 point, and that's it. She hits. And actually right now, Underdog is doing a second special, so you'll get 2 free plays at sign up. The other one is for the Olympic game, where you can choose either LeBron or Jokic to get a single point as well. So you get 2 free plays at sign up, and you can't beat that. And if you use my code RAY at sign up, RAY, they'll also give you up to $250 in bonus cash to play with. So check it out. Now let's talk about some of the music that's in the game. So at the end of the first quarter, Iowa does their iconic wave to the Children's Hospital, and you hear the wave song play, which is really cool.
It's the end of the first quarter, and now time for one of the great traditions in college football, when the entire crowd here in Iowa City will turn and give a wave to the children at the University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital. Everyone engage, and we wave and salute those kids and wish them all the best.
Now, most of you know about Penn State's intro already, but they do play Zombie Nation for their intro. Let's listen to a brief clip.
Valley and Beaver Stadium, home to the Penn State Nittany Lions. But this isn't any regular matchup. It's a battle of top tens, a couple of forces meeting head-to-head, where one team will try to make a resonating statement. As we'll see the number 4
and of course, they play Mo Bamba during the first defensive snap as well, and you will see this song come in and out during the game for big moments as well.
So the Oregon Ducks return team certainly didn't do the offense any favors there. And here comes the quarterback, and one thing you know for sure with this team, as he goes, so goes the offense.
And he's a big-time talent, Reese. This guy can hurt you in a moment.
Now also keep in mind, all of these songs do play at other stadiums as well, where they make sense because they are popular hype songs that a lot of stadiums play, but the teams that specifically use these in certain situations will use them that exact way, just like Penn State. Now we got to talk about South Carolina and Sandstorm. Their intro is crazy, along with their crowd chant. Check it out.
Welcome everyone, and glad to have you with us from Williams-Brice Stadium, home of the South Carolina Gamecocks. Naki and all of his friends ready to go and amped up for what we have in store. What a game, and what potential drama we have in store. You've seen this script before. Top 10 team goes into a cauldron of emotion on the road and just hopes to be able to get out
and going back to Zombie Nation, UCF also plays this right before kickoff with their crowd chant. Check that out.
The Cowboys will get us started with the opening kickoff.
And of course, there's other songs like Tsunami Bounce that plays for everybody, but especially Navy. But while we're talking about Navy, let's talk about some of the kickoff sounds that play. Check this one out. I love Navy's.
From inside his own 10, let's see what he gets.
Or how about Texas?
The Longhorns will kick it away to start us off.
Any school that has some type of tradition during kickoff, whether they're chants or songs played or sound bites, they're going to be in this game. And speaking of sounds, we've got to talk about Mississippi State's cowbells. Listen and see if you can hear it.
Auburn is ready to go back to work on offense. They just didn't quite find the rhythm on that last drive, Jesse. They had to punt it.
I think they got to be more physical, David. I think up front they got to do a better job.
Now, another cool feature in terms of sound is quieting the crowd, which isn't a new thing, but it sounds really great in this game. So listen to the loud crowd and then listen how quiet they get when you quiet them down by flicking down the right stick.
Looking for a crease to the left. A most efficient pickup of 6 on first down.
Now, there's other cool things that happen in this game, too, like when you score touchdowns with certain teams. So when you score a touchdown with UCF, the smoke goes off. Check it out.
Downfield, it's Jefferson. A shot toward the end zone. And it's caught. Touchdown, UCF. Start with it. Unleashes one deep. And makes the grab in the end zone. Touchdown, Texas.
And the crowd itself is just so alive in this game. Listen to how the crowd reacts as the Oregon player pulls away, and then once again pay attention to the sounds that play once he scores the touchdown.
They're doing it early in this game.
Nothing but green ahead. He's at the 30. The 10. Touchdown, Ducks. And once he found daylight, it was Katie bar the door.
And if you want to know just how detailed these sounds are, they even fire the rifle at West Virginia when they make a field goal.
And the pass. Did a good job playing both. Got it stopped. Now forcing a 4th down.
Another cool thing about this game is all of the NFL stadiums that are in it due to neutral site games and bowl games. So for example, the Army versus Navy rivalry is a neutral site game. It's being played at the Commander Stadium. So the Commander Stadium, as you can see, is in the game. And when you play Army versus Navy, you will be at the Commander Stadium, which is really cool. Another example of this is the Georgia versus Florida rivalry that is played in Jacksonville at the Jaguar Stadium. And it's probably the best looking rivalry game in this game, in my opinion, just because you can see the split of the crowd so nicely in this. Now, obviously, Texas and Oklahoma has that as well, but their colors are a little more similar, whereas you see a big difference with the orange and blue versus the red in the crowd, and you get some nice graphics around the stadium as well. So this is a look at the Jaguar Stadium in College Football 25, which you can play at when you play this rivalry game. And the Cowboy Stadium is also in College Football 25 because of the Texas A&M versus Arkansas rivalry that is played at Jerry World. So yes, if you are a Cowboys fan, hey, your stadium is in the game as well, and you can play at that stadium when you play this rivalry game, which is pretty cool in my opinion. And speaking of all these neutral site games, like I just mentioned, we have Texas versus Oklahoma, which is played at the Cotton Bowl. This is another split crowd, which is similar to the Georgia and Florida one, where you have the Texas fans on one side and the Oklahoma fans on the other. This is a lot of people's favorite rivalry, and it is in the game, and it looks beautiful. Some other NFL stadiums that are included in this game are the Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium, because that's where the Pitt College team plays at, and as you can see, this is the Steelers Stadium in game, but with the Pitt logos on it. Another example of this is Allegiant Stadium, where the Las Vegas Raiders play. Well, that's also where UNLV plays, so that stadium is also in the game. Of course, you can't forget about Hard Rock Stadium, where the Miami Dolphins play. It's also where the Miami Hurricanes play. So if you want, you can play at the Dolphin Stadium in College Football 25. We've also got Lincoln Financial Field in the game as well, where the Philadelphia Eagles play. It's also where Temple plays, so their stadium is also included in College Football 25. And of course, you got to consider the bowl games as well, and especially the National Championship, which this year is being played at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So as you can see here, we got a little preview of the National Championship here. Hopefully my LSU Tigers actually get there this year. Maybe wishful thinking, but maybe we got a chance. But as you can see, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium will be in the game where you can play the National Championship. And speaking of all these stadiums and bowl games, College Football 25 includes all of the bowl games that you know and love, and you can play at any of them at any time here at the game menu. Just select the event type before you actually go into the game, and you can play at any of these different bowl games. And of course, we got to take a look at some of the fan favorites, like the Duke's Mayo Classic, which takes place at the Carolina Panthers Stadium. I forget what the name of the stadium is, but this is another example of an NFL stadium being in this game due to bowl games or other reasons. So not only do we have all the college stadiums, you got a lot of NFL stadiums here as well, which is cool. The attention to detail was paid to all those things instead of just putting them in generic stadiums. So here's a little look at the Duke's Mayo Classic in Carolina. And of course, we can't forget about the Pop-Tart Bowl. Everybody loves the Pop-Tart Bowl. I don't think they have a mascot for that in the game, unfortunately. Maybe in the future they'll do that. But this is played at the Camping World Stadium in Orlando, Florida. So if you want to go play at the Pop-Tart Bowl, you could throw whatever teams in here you want, just like I did, just to play in this stadium, which is one of the, I think it's like a simple but really nice looking stadium. And you get the bowl patches when you play, no matter what teams you put in here as well. So just another cool thing you can do in College Football 25. Now let's talk about the striped crowd. So I've talked about this in other videos, but in Dynasty mode and maybe Road to Glory, I'm not sure if it's in Road to Glory, but definitely Dynasty mode, you will get striped crowds for different things. Usually the first home game of the year, a rivalry game, or game of the week. If your team has a striped crowd that they do or some type of a crowd theme, it'll be in the game. Now here's a look at my favorite one in the game, the red, white, and blue crowd for Texas A&M, which you will get in Dynasty mode for the season opener. It's a beautiful looking crowd at a very nice looking stadium, and I'm just so glad that they put these little details in the game because it makes it feel so much more real. Another insane one is the checkerboard crowd from Tennessee, one of the most popular ones in college football. Again, in Dynasty mode, you'll get these at the home opener, rivalry games, and if you're game of the week. This is probably, I don't know, it's right up there with the red, white, and blue. These are the two best looking ones in the game for me, but there's also other ones that'll be, you know, alternating colors, for example, like Ole Miss right here with the red and blue striped crowds. You're also going to have certain crowds that'll just be all one color, so they'll either all be the team color. So Ohio State might have an entire red crowd for a game. Of course, you've got the iconic whiteout for Penn State, which most of you know is in the game by now. Georgia has a blackout crowd. Marshall has an all green crowd. There's a ton of cool ones in the game for you to discover. Now, if you want to actually check out all the different themed crowds that are in the game, I did a video going over every team's unique game intro, and you can check that video out right here on the screen.